Is this the best time of the year? That first couple of weeks at school? Is everybody really excited because nobody's burnt out yet? It's hard to get up as early as you do, and you don't get to sit on your computer and go on Facebook all day when you feel like having some downtime. What's a good day at work? You come home and you think, oh, that was a good day.
I always like that aha moment when I used to teach like books, and we'd be having some sort of discussion over a passage, and you see that look on the kids' faces when they would actually understand what the writer was trying to say.
I had a student today that used one of our vocabulary words from 2 weeks ago in his own writing. This is a first grader. And so just, it was just one of those things, he just knew what the word meant and he wanted to use it in his writing. And he brought it to me and he was so proud. And then when I read it, I was just ecstatic. I'm like, oh my gosh, this was one of our words. He said, I know.
They have a choice, man. They can walk out in the hallway and they can start talking about whatever movie, TV show, or musical artist, but they're out the door talking about like the decline of the Ottoman Empire or something, you know what I mean? Which is like obscure history that, I'm like, oh man, that's nice, and then, the rest of the day you're just walking on cloud nine because kids in the hallway are talking about what you just taught them, so.
Do these aha moments that you have, these things that motivate you when you see the progress, do they happen often?
I think they can happen every day. I think it's the lens that you want to take. And not that you want to take, but that you choose to take, that you open your eyes to see the greatness that is happening throughout the day.
How important is it that you need to know that your administration, your principal is saying, go do what you got to do without the bureaucracy and the red tape and all the things that get in the way of teaching and making those connections?
I think it's critical. I think it's 100% a make or break for a school, for the teachers in that school, for the kids in that school, for the community. I think it's from the top down, and when you have an awesome administrator, everybody feels comfortable, everybody's ready to learn, the kids feel good.
We need the kind of support from our administrators that's the same kind of support we're giving to our students. We need to have goals, just like we want our kids to have goals, but we need to have positive feedback, and we need to be, critiqued and have, more goals put in place.
A school system is a lot like a family, and when you don't have that overarching support, then it is not impossible, but it is very challenging to move forward and meet the goals that everybody is saying around you want to put in place.
Come November, Amendment 3 is on the ballot. What is Amendment 3, and how do those of you in the room feel about it?
It is an amendment that focuses teachers on standardized tests because it requires that teachers are evaluated by their kids' test scores, which, in my eyes, really kind of forces teachers to view kids as numbers.
Every community is different, and with this amendment, it tries to make everything on an even plane, but at the same time, we know as teachers, everybody learns differently.
I don't think that test is going to show us everything we need to know.
What does define quality learning?
I think taking a student from where they're at to where they need to go. So you can't just say everybody's going to end up at this same point by the end of the year. You want to take them where they're at now and hope and know that they will grow, but they all grow at their own different pace. And so you don't want to say this standardized test is going to measure, and if you don't meet that, you're a failure or you're behind.
The test is just one data point. It's not enough to value someone's education on.
It kind of kills what makes teaching great.
What does make teaching great? You guys kind of pick the hardest profession you can have, where sometimes not all people, but underpaid and underappreciated. It's challenging. Why do it? What is you talked about the passion and what makes being a teacher great. Explain it to me.
I think the relationships that you build, to me, are priceless. For me personally, building that relationship with that child and taking them from one point to the other satisfies my soul, basically. It's something that I yearn to do. I like to make a difference.
What are things that work? Whether you see them now or things that you wish would take place?
I meet my students at the door every day and I say, hi, how are you, as they come in the door. Just that simple interaction can make all the difference in the world.
I'd love to see a free preschool available to every child in this country.
Do you see a difference when kids enter kindergarten? Can you say, okay, they've had some early childhood classes, development.
There's such a difference between two 5-year-olds, that one who has been in a family that has a lot of rich language and goes to a nice preschool or even stays home with a parent that takes care, and then another 5-year-old that has not had that exposure and may be living in poverty, and we have suburban and urban and rural poverty in Missouri, and it's growing. And so we're seeing these children come in that are at such a difference at 5 years old, and so if you already are at this kind of a difference every year, it just keeps getting larger and larger. That's where the legislators could start stepping up
Yes.
and start putting their money into our early childhood education.
I just want to end on one thing. Are you guys going to be this enthusiastic come May?
Yeah. Unless Amendment 3 passes.